Hello, dear friends. Namaste, Dr. Kausthub Desikachar. Again, we are here on live online with you. If someone is there, looks like no one is there. Oh, there's one. Great. We got a heart. Please just let us know everything it's okay. If you can see us and hear us, especially maybe if you can see the Dr. Kausthub Desikachar, a wonderful shirt that he decided to wear today with the flowers. Hi, Lenka. How are you? Nice to read you online. So, dear friends, again, warmly welcome to this interview today with Dr. Kausthub Desikachar. The interview today will be about feminine, about sensuality, creativity, and intuition, the feminine qualities, the most significant ones, let's say. But before we start, I am going to introduce Dr. Kausthub Desikachar. Dr. Kausthub Desikachar, for the people that you don't know him, he's a world-known yoga teacher, yoga therapist, spiritual mentor, and he has students all around the world, and you help students all around the world also by a very special way, mostly energetical way, but with ancient tools of Vini Yoga. Yes, and my name is Katja Ujcic. I am a therapist for gifted. I am expressive art therapist and a coach, and I am dedicated to help gifted people all around the world to find their true potential and to live and thrive into their giftedness. So, hello, Dr. Kausthub Desikachar. How are you today?
Namaste, Katya, and namaste, all of you. And advance wishes for the International Women's Day tomorrow. And it's very, very appropriate that you choose this kind of topic today to discuss. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm actually quite a little bit nervous to be here because you have your list of very, very deadly questions. So I'm waiting for them. A little bit of nervousness. I'll do my best. Namaste, friends. Namaste, everybody.
So, Kaustubh is asking for your support. I am not like that, like very demanding. I think that, as always, we will go very deep with these questions, and we will all be very with the new knowledge and the new energy that will be created here. So, but first, let me say a few words about our interviews that we are doing. It's been, my dear friends, now 1 year of our interviews. Kaustubh, we started in March last year, so it's really a celebration also for us. So it's 1 year of Corona time also. And just to let you know, we will still have all these interviews more and more, but maybe the dates will change. So please be follow me and follow Kaustubh so you will know when the dates will and the new interviews will be conducted. So today we will, in order to honor all women in the world, we will talk about the feminine qualities that can truly change the world for better if the woman would bring them to the light and live by these qualities. So let us know, maybe from where you are, for those who we don't know, or just squeeze some emoji or something so we know you are there. And maybe you can find the emoji that it's honoring also all the women in the world. But before we start, let's ask our dear teacher to chant.
Namaste, Katya, and namaste, everybody. Let us do a very nice chant that honors the woman. Some people are making jokes about my shirt. If you ladies like my shirt, let me know. It's actually an interesting shirt story because it's very, very feminine, but it comes from Vaterland. I bought this shirt in Germany together with your friend Marilyn Monroe, Sabine, in Frankfurt. This is where we
Hello.
met her, and she was my fashion advisor at this time to pick up this shirt. It's got roses, and it's designed with on the other side legs of somebody dancing. So it's got ballet on one side and roses on the other side. It's a very interesting creation.
Wow, creation, exactly. Good.
Uh, my mother loves roses, so she's a very powerful woman in my life. So I wear this in her honor. So
Oh,
let's
how nice.
with the chant, with the chant for the divine feminine. I'll break this chant in two parts. The second part I will do at the conclusion of our interview.
Good.
Om हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजाम् चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयङ्गामश्वं पुरुषानः अश्वपूर्वां रथमध्याम् हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीम् श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवी जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामाद्रान् ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीम् पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां त्वामिहोपक्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियल्लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् तां पद्मनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोत बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देव सखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीर्नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारान् नित्यपुष्टङ्करेषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रेयाम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Namaste, friends.
Namaste.
And yes, Marilyn Monroe, I'm waiting for the time we will go back there again together.
Yes, we will still wait for a little while, I think, to travel.
It's okay, but I'm sure it will happen.
Of course it will, yeah. So, are women and men really so different, Kaustuba? Does a woman want something, let's say, very different than a man on a basic level, on an energy level, maybe?
Well, um, firstly, we have to qualify this interview because female specimen to be able to answer all your deadly questions. But I am very fortunate that I work with a lot of very strong women and very interesting women, very creative women, very intuitive women. So I'm very lucky to have some experience. But your question, the first question, is so difficult for me to answer because if I have to say the truth completely, even I don't know what I want completely. So how can I be sure what men want and what women want? But generally speaking, you're absolutely right that it looks like the man and the woman are not necessarily cut from the same fabric, if you know what I mean, if you understand this metaphor.
Mhm.
It looks like the women and the men are made from two different fabric because there is so many differences uh, in the way of how men look at things and how men live life and how men experience life and how women do it. And so it definitely seems that we are not necessarily from the same planet. I remember talking about this many years ago with one of my students who told me that she had a child and she is a European lady and her husband was Japanese. And she told me, oh, my son is so lucky because, he has a mother who speaks German and a father who speaks Japanese, so he can learn two different languages from childhood. And this is basically because we are from two different countries and we speak two different languages. I remember very clearly telling her, my mother and my father are from the same country, but they speak two different languages. Even though they speak the same language, they don't understand each other. So I really feel that the outlook of the women and the outlook of men is very different. And I know we are going to talk a little bit later about intuition, and you are one of the ladies or the participants listening and should remind me about one particular experience of the intuition of my mother, and then we will address this. And I think this is why I say we are not necessarily cut from the same cloth, and so we are different, not just biologically, but I think energetically we are different, psychologically we are different, and I think the way we are tuned to nature, thanks to the menstrual cycle of the woman. The woman, I think, is much more tuned to the natural cycle of the energy than men are, who, like women, are a bit stuck and stubborn with energy. We don't flow so easily, and that's why sometimes we don't seek help when we are sick earlier. It's very, very well documented that women approach healing or ask for help much earlier than men do. And this is because the women are much more sensitive to their needs that, okay, something is not right, let me seek some help. Whereas the man is like, yeah, yeah, it's okay, I'm fine, and then it's too late. So I really feel that we are quite different. We are, and it's beautiful that we are different because if everybody was the same, then we would all be robots. Luckily, we are different.
And it's still echoing in my mind. If we are from different planets, this could be a very nice experiment here on Earth. A difficult one.
Well, planet is just a metaphoric statement, right? Well,
Yeah.
if you say, for example, in astrology, we associate different personalities to be dominated by different planets.
Mhm.
So when we say we are from different planets, of course, one person may be dominated by the Jupiter in the horoscope, one person may be dominated by Mercury in the horoscope. So they are from two different planets. They are not from the same planet, even if we are living in the same city or same address even. So it's another way of looking at it, not just literally, but also metaphorically.
Yes. So women should be like from Venus or what, and men from Mars somehow. This was a book from someone, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very good marketing punchline, but I'm not so sure if women are from only Venus and men are only from Mars, because I know many women who are from Mars as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or from far, far away, not even
And,
from that galaxy. Yeah.
and I know many men who are definitely from Venus as well, and who
Yeah.
still are living in Venus, metaphorically.
Metaphorically, exactly. Yeah. It's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
women are so powerful. You said also by yourself so many times, and we see now in the world also women are more and more powerful. We have more and more important positions. A lot of women movements are now very active, but yet still we see that in many cases the women, they want to just to become more like a man. It looks like that we somehow skip this embracing of female qualities. Why do you think is like that?
well, I hope that women will not become like men, because we have made this experiment in this earth for the last few thousand years, let's say, because I'm not really sure how many thousand, but a few thousand years of a patriarchal system. And we have basically screwed up this earth very badly. So I really hope that women will not want to embrace that system that has actually failed. And rather, I would hope that we go back to a matriarchal system that was existing in earlier times, where it was much more harmonious and much more healthier. As to the reasons why women are trying to become more and more like men, I've had lots of conversations with my women students, and the thing that I can gather about is that there's a few reasons. First and foremost, I think it's the way that patriarchal society is defining success is merely in monetary terms.
Mhm.
If you have money, you are successful. If you don't have money, you are not successful. Even the greatest musician, if he or she composes fantastic pieces of music, until and unless they earn money, they are not considered successful. And I think that is a very unfortunate thing, where we have somehow equated success to prosperity, financial prosperity, or economic prosperity, rather than creative prosperity. And that is the problem. I tell you something. I am a teacher of Yoga Sutra, philosophy Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. I don't think Patanjali earned any money with Yoga Sutra, but we are still discussing it 2,500 years later. Now, that is prosperity.
Yes.
So it's not that he or she just needs to earn money that makes it prosperity. Jesus Christ was poor all his life. He never earned money with all that he did. He did not even build a house, he did not even own a house. But today there are so many houses with Jesus Christ on its name, which doesn't belong to Jesus actually. And unfortunately, that is how even religion has started to define success. And I think that is what women are trying to do, is to trying to be compete with the man and be as financially successful as men. And I think that is one part of the reason that I hear from many women who talk to me. The other part, which is my own reflection from working with these women, is that this is part of the game that the patriarchal dark energy is playing, which is that we want to make people weaker, and the best way to make somebody weaker is to doubt themselves. So if women are told, oh, you're not good enough because you're a woman, in subconsciously we are trying to tell them, well, you're not good enough until you become like a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so many women kind of hear this in that way. It's my interpretation from the conversations I've had with my students. So everybody can correct me if it's not the same experience. So in some way, women fall for this trap and think that, oh, you know what, maybe I'm not good enough just being myself. I have to become somebody else.
Yes, exactly.
It's like how the black people, and therefore lots of marketing products or face whitening creams are sold in the darker skinned community, because you're saying you're not good enough if you're dark, so you have to become brighter, whiter. The same way, you're not good enough if you're a woman is giving the underlying message that you've got to become like a man to be considered good enough. And that's a very big trick that the patriarchal powers are playing, and which many women fall for the trap. And luckily, there are some women who don't fall for the trap. And I think that's very important that those women continue. But this could be two of the explanations I can offer. One is the economic prosperity that our society is so addicted to. And the second is the play of the dark patriarchal power to weaken the woman by telling them that they are not so good enough. And I'm wondering if some of the women who are listening to this conversation agree to this view, or if they have an alternative view, please feel free to share.
Yes, please feel free to share. And exactly, there is, as you said, and there is enormous marketing, covered and uncovered, also secret one, that really brings a female down to mere an object. Yeah. So where the true feminine is crashed down or masked with some other, this is feminine, other perception, as market is actually demanding. So why we don't see that manipulation? Why we are just, going with the flow? Oh, I should be skinny. I should have that kind of body. I should wear that,
Yeah, you're very, very right. You're very right in that there is the objectification of woman in two ways. I feel in two ways. One is a sexual objectification, that the woman is kind of like a sexual object, which is so relevant in all the advertising that you are seeing now for whatever product is being sold now, even if it has nothing to do with feminine power. Women are used as objects for sales. I was just watching television with my mom today at lunchtime, and she was watching her favorite TV program. And in the middle, there are some advertisements, obviously. And there was an advertisement for ice cream, where the ice cream was being objectified as a very attractive woman that you can buy and consume. So subconsciously it gives a message that the ice cream is an object which you consume in the form of an objectified woman, and that's the problem. Now, why we are accepting this is because of the power of the media. These things have become very normalized under the patriarchal set of governance and rules. And we need to stand up and not accept these kind of advertisement, not accept this kind of promotion, and make a case for it. And we need to stop supporting these kind of brands that objectify anybody, especially women, in terms of selling objects that have nothing to do with how they are being promoted. And I think that is the problem. and what media has normalized. If you look at what media has normalized in the decades, when you think about it, from the 60s and the 70s, smoking was normalized. You had the famous Marlboro Man image that was promoted in movies around the world. Then in the uh, 80s and 90s, it was sex. And that's where the women were objectified. And recently now, it's violence, guns and fighting, and these things are being normalized to the extreme that many people are debating, especially in certain countries, that carrying guns to schools, carrying guns to religious places is normal. How can we accept that this is normal, that where children are meant to learn, guns are okay? In the same way, because it's repeated so many times, and it's much faster these days because of the power of the internet. The same way, women have been objectified as objects of sex, and this is inappropriate. But prior to the objectification of the woman as an object of sex, there was also the other woman was like a property of the father or of the husband. Now you see your name, you take your father's name,
Yes.
you take your husband's name when you get married. You don't, now many people are keeping their names, that's okay, but for a long time, it was normal that the woman took the name of the husband because they became the property of the husband and the family of the husband all around the world. I'm not talking about India.
Yes.
You are Katja Ujcic now, but if you married some other guy, you will take that person's name, married name, husband's name, which communicated subconsciously that women are objects that could be possessed, and that thinking is also wrong. So we need to change these two things, and I really hope that women will reflect about this and not accept that kind of, what do you call, objectification one way or the other. Sensual or sexual objectification is not the only problem. There's also the objectification that you can actually own a woman, and that is also incorrect. And we need to
Yes.
change that mindset, because in reality, we don't own anything. I mean, even
Exactly.
our body does not belong to us, because if it belonged to us, we will have control over it. One day it's going to die. So the divine owns this body, not us. So if we don't own our own self, how the hell can we think that we can own somebody? And that thinking must change.
Yeah.
And this disturbs me because it's also in the language we make it very, very hard. Because I see, for example, a few days ago, I was in my most favorite restaurant, and there is a group of people we are often meeting, and let's say one person's name is James, just to protect the identity of the person. It's not James,
Yeah.
but let's say James. So uh, there was a lady who came that day, and that lady was not introduced. And let's say the lady's name is Katya. She was not introduced as, this is Katya. She was introduced to all of us as, this is James's wife. Her name was not even said. So I had to ask her, what's your name? Because I don't want to know her as James's wife. I want to know who she is. But that's how dominant the thinking is. And I
Yes.
think this should change. This is what I feel.
Yes, and it actually runs really very deep, as you said, for thousands of years. Actually, it's like that, and it's so deeply rooted in our subconscious that maybe we are don't even feel that we can be uh, let's say on the same level as men, that we can create something, that we can be important, that we do matter, that we are enough. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we come from our mother's womb, yet we take our father's name.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, one sperm is what we get from the father,
Yeah.
and all the other nourishment we are getting from the mother for the 9 months during the pregnancy, yet we get the father's name. It's so fascinating how we are somehow brainwashed by
Yeah.
society, and we need to start reflecting about it and
Yeah.
take the steps to change it.
Yeah. So talking about the female qualities, there are many of them. So maybe all the beautiful ladies there are here with us now today. I will read some of them, so you can maybe listen and then write which one suits you the best. So I listed some of the female qualities so that the ladies, we can activate them and embrace them. Yeah. So when
Ladies,
we
they
are
are here.
listening to it can also, bring the light to the seed of these qualities, and then they can start to grow. So there's a secret conversation going on here. I can see. Hola, chiquita. So I'm thinking and feeling about, let's say, creativity, beauty, renewal, restoration, birth, healing, receptivity, openness, nurturing, love, understanding, compassion, insight, intuition, wisdom, forgiveness, connection, harmony, sensuality. So all these qualities can save the world by merely applying, let's say, a little part of them in our life. Looks like we are not, according to the state of the world that we are now. What actually stops us from being feminine and to really connect to these qualities and embrace these qualities and embrace ourselves?
Wow, when you read that list of qualities, I'm thinking, oh my God, I want those qualities, you know.
Nice one. Yeah.
But to counter it on the other side, it looks like men just have two qualities, dumb and stupid. It looks like it, but hopefully we are
No,
not
no,
just
no,
that.
no, no. They
Hopefully
also
we
have
are not.
they also have very, very good qualities. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
And
of
as we
course.
know, in each one of us, there's also feminine and masculine sides. So yeah. So
True.
what stops us from actually having these qualities? There are little parts we should embrace it. Yeah.
See, when you read these many qualities, especially the qualities like the two things that really come to my mind, three things that come to my mind, which is basically intuition, creativity, and wisdom. These three qualities that come very, very strongly when you read the list. I feel these three give anybody great power.
Yeah. Exactly.
It gives anybody great power. And I think that is what the men got afraid of, that women will get these powers and then they will become weaker. And we men, we start to have that fear that we will be dominated by the woman because that's what we do. Men try to dominate.
Yeah.
It's a typical male attitude, it's not
Yeah.
a female attitude. And because we don't understand woman very well, we
Mhm.
project what we will do if they were having the same power. So
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
think that we are going to be dominated by them just like we are dominated. So I'm going to be afraid that, oh, I will become the property of my wife. I will become dominated by my wife, etc. And so, what better way to kind of diffuse this power than to move the woman away from these powers? So, I think that's what the patriarchal system did so intelligently, to move the woman away from these powerful qualities of wisdom, of intuition, of creativity, etc. And that's why we are suffering. If you look at the Middle Ages, there were so many women, so-called witches, who were prosecuted, killed. And
Yes.
that's why the word witch became a bad word for the woman just being in her power, not because they were abusive. They were the great healers.
Yeah.
They were so creative. They had so much wisdom. And it's all over the world, it was like this. The
Yes.
women were the spiritual powerhouses. So I think this is what the man got afraid of, because the man could not understand that women would not do the same thing that we men are doing when given this power. Maybe they will use the power in a different way. And I think that is the biggest reason why the women were somehow moved away from these powers, either through violent methods or through very sophisticated manipulation. Very sophisticated manipulation using language. Like when you say witch is a bad person, then you're slowly saying that all these women were witches, because there was not so many male witches at that time. The men were the priest or things like that. They were not bad. The witches were bad, but not the others. So it was sophisticated languaging that kind of cut this. Intuition was taken out of modern language. Like
Yes.
to say, like, I go to my doctor is not allowed to say, I have intuition that you have this problem. You have to do a bloody test and then find out that this is the problem. But women have this intuition. Intuition is a typically female attribute. In Sanskrit language also, intuition is called pratibha, which is a feminine gender word.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine gender word. So I think that is what happened. Men got afraid of the power of the woman. In some way, the I don't agree, and to call the woman the weaker sex, that's the worst thing to do to a woman. Because in my view and in my experience, I feel that women are the stronger sex, because I don't think any man can endure a birthing of a child, nor a monthly menstrual cycle, nor the changes of menopause, which every woman endures. I don't think a man can endure this. But the languaging was so sophisticated. They said
Yes.
weaker sex, weaker sex. So in a certain way, they manipulate the woman to believe that she is the weaker sex rather than she is the powerful person. I think this is what happened. This is my view. I mean, I hope I'm not a history student, but this is what I understand from the experiences that I've seen around in the world.
Yes, and I think we first need to heal that pain, in both in men and in women, that pain of suppressing the feminine and, kill so many women because they were witches, abuse so many women, but also on the side of a man, because not that all men are like violent and abusive. Yeah, some of them, they just have to watch their wife or mother or sister being burned because she was more authentic and more strong. And I find this also with my clients, when we connect this pain, which is like generation pain of the generation and ancestor pain. They are always really very relieved, and there is so much power that starts to flow when this pain is healed. So I think this maybe the first step to start embracing our femininity, to first heal that pain, and then maybe to activate and to have yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, because the pain that we carry is not just our own experiences, but also the experiences of our ancestors in the past. And we all of us probably have women and sisters who were not treated
Yes.
very well, and this we cannot avoid. It's classical case all over the world, everywhere, because most societies have had a patriarchal system of leadership. There are some exceptions where there are matriarchal systems in place, and they have done pretty well. The patriarchal systems have been very, very violent towards the woman, not necessarily only physically or sexually, but also verbally and emotionally, and overtly and covertly,
Yes.
obviously, and very, very, how do you say, in a hidden way. Like
Yeah.
when we say, "Oh, you are the weaker sex," then it's a covert way of putting down the woman. And I think this is what I'm saying.
Yes. So, Valerie, first she said that it's exactly me. Probably she did find in all the female qualities that I read that she is connected to all these qualities, and she's saying, is it also not our responsibility as women to encourage men, sons, father, partners, friends to connect with their own power, their own energy, and not to be afraid anymore? So, to help also men in a way to connect to their power.
It's very tricky because first we have to understand what is the male power, and
Mhm.
it's not anybody's business to allow somebody to accept their power. When we say that, then it's no more their power. What we need to start linking accept the power of the opposite gender, of the opposite sex. That's all. We just have to accept that that's different from what we will have. Like, I have to accept that a woman can be independent, strong, intuitive, wise. I just have to accept it. I don't have to say, "Oh, you have to be wise, you have to be intuitive, you have to be this." I don't have to do that, because then it's no more empowering of the person's own power. We just have to accept it. And one more thing we can do is not to put obstacles for the other person's true powers. That's all.
Yeah. So
That's
let's talk about then the three qualities that we mentioned: creativity, sensuality, and intuition. So maybe I will ask the ladies if they are willing to share how they cherish, how they nurture their creativity or sensuality or intuition. So if we start with the creativity, it's actually such an immense power, from possibility to create life, to give birth to a new life, to singing, dancing, writing, also healing. Yeah, it's such immense power. So are we in a way afraid of it, or even are we ready to use it? So are we afraid of it and just, no, I'm not going to go there. I can feel it, but it's so immense. I don't know, I'm going to explode. And do we actually feel ready? Are we ready to use it, or should we just wait a little bit?
You're asking me or the ladies?
I'm asking you.
Oh, I was a bit confused because you said before that, "Hey, ladies, what do you think about these three powers?"
Yes.
And so I was just thinking that maybe this was an extended.
Also for the ladies, of course. Are they afraid to use that power? Do they feel that power? So are we afraid? If are you ready energetically maybe to use
Yeah,
it?
I am not able to answer from personal experience because, as you know, I am a man,
Yes.
stupid, but I've had the great privilege to talk to many, many ladies, many wonderfully creative ladies, and you are certainly one of them as well. And of course, there are many others who are here. And you can yourself remember the times when you were afraid to use your own powers of creativity.
Yes, of course.
And I have to encourage many of you to not be afraid and help develop practices that will remove the blockages of fear, etc., so that you can be your creative self. So, yes, from the experiences of my students, what I have seen is that many women are very afraid to embrace their creative power, not just making children, but also in their own sense of, uh, how to say, creating the power. There's a very interesting thing I would like to say. In Sanskrit, the word for potency is masculine, pum shakti. But the word for creating something with that potency, Shri Shakti, is feminine power. See, potency is not enough. Like, look, you may have a creative potential. Okay? I may have a creative potential. The seed is there. That's why the seed is male, Pum Shakti. But that seed to get created into a project, into a reality, that is the power of the feminine power, the Shri Shakti. So it's the woman who can do that. That's why even biologically, the man is putting the seed into the mother, because the man has no power to bring that seed into life. He's got a seed, and many of them. So, but the woman chooses only one of those millions and biologically brings that to life. The same way, we may all have many, many creative ideas, but it's not enough to have those creative power, the Shri Shakti, to bring that seed into life. And that is entirely in the feminine power of creativity. No, men also have it, but that
Yes.
creative power is feminine.
Yeah.
And I think many, many people, both men and women, are afraid to use that because our society wants everybody to become like robots. Will become like robots because we all are meant to be like same, so it's easy to control. That's why we have this tall poppy syndrome, where if one poppy plant is taller than the others, it's chopped off so that everything looks the same. That's not creativity, that's manufacturing.
Yeah.
That's manufacturing in a mass market. Creativity is to bring out the potential in that seed outside. The mother is not making it a girl or a boy. The seed already has that. The mother only brings alive what that seed has. That's the creativity, the process. And I think this is where women were afraid in the past much more. Now, many women are coming out of this fear and embracing their creative self. And I'm hoping that in the future, this will become even more and more stronger. This is my hope.
Yes. So by creating actually, how we can, I'm expressive art therapist, and I do, with the creativity. Wow, it's a immense ocean, indefinite ocean. Yeah. And what we can do is, with the creativity and with the creating, maybe just very simple stuff, we are actually expressing ourselves. Yeah, and by creating step by step, we become more and more authentic. So we can, let's say, for example, ladies, we can just sing a little bit when we are, I don't know, cooking, or we can dance. Dance has immense healing power. You can write if you are more connected to writing, or you feel more that writing is your potential. You can do some art, for example, that one, as I did in the beginning of the year. You see how feminine this art is.
Wow, it kind of matches my shirt.
Exactly. This is why I decided to show it. Now it's still
Wow.
like ongoing art. It's just some stuff putting on. Actually, it has a theme. It has a, I'm expressive art therapist, so I know what's going on, and it doesn't matter. You just buy a color, some glue, something, and just create. Does not need to be perfect. Just splash stuff on a color on the piece of paper. So it's this step by step, we then become more and more creative, or our creativity becomes more and more authentic and more powerful, and we can become more and more ourselves. Yeah. So this is how I nurture my creativity, and I need to say that with me and with my clients is really, this is very, very big help. It actually has really a lot of beautiful
The,
manifestation then. Yeah.
the other thing also is, if you think about it, when you plant a seed in the soil, and the soil, the plant has to grow, or the mother becomes pregnant, and she has to grow, the child has to grow in the belly, etc. A very important thing is to give it the energy of kapha, to relax, to rest. And that's part of the problem also in modern society, where we are all in a
Yeah.
rush. We don't give ourselves the space and the time that is needed to be creative. We become, like you said earlier, women become like man, go to jobs working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, which means they're not giving any time to their creative potential, and that's unfortunate. So I
Mm-hmm.
think time and space is also a factor that prevents many women from being, and especially in today's time where many women are single mothers, they have to take care of the child all alone. And sometimes they are not just single mothers, but in a way, single child also, because many times women take care of their parents, not the boys. I'm the unusual case where I'm taking care of my mother now before my father. Uh, but in most societies, the women children are given the heavy responsibility to take care of the parents as well. So women kind of get caught up in so many responsibilities that they don't have the time and space to be themselves, to be creative. And I think that is a big problem.
Yeah. And to rest, to connect to creativity, as Aurelie said. Yeah. And Shri said that it's so beautiful. Thank you very much. Yeah. My art. Yeah. So, and let's move now to the topic, which is a little bit, let's say, delicate. So I will explain a little bit more. Sensuality. So such a misunderstood concept with such a, let's say, sort of abusive manifestations all around the world for so many time. Yeah. Many women are, let's say, perceiving being sensual as being very sexy, or the opposite, being very modest, shy, very maybe traditional, dressed like a man. And women usually don't know how to empower their sensuality. It's very difficult for us because we even don't know what that is. It's like very, very, on one side, very sexy, or the opposite side. Yeah, no, I'm just like a man, I'm dressed like very, very plain. But it's not just about being dressed. I'm speaking here about sensuality that actually derives from senses, that embraces the beauty. So sensuality is connected to beauty and to honor the beauty. So women are beauty, they represent the beauty. Therefore, they should embrace themselves. So allow to, for example, with the sensuality, to embrace the sensuality, you can go and explore or nurture yourself in some sort of warm bath, so the senses can be more activated. You can smell some nice fragrances, or you can eat a chocolate, which is very good. Yeah. Surround yourself with textures and colors, and just take that time, that pleasure to feel, to smell, to enjoy your surroundings and yourself also, yeah? So sensuality is mostly about praising the beauty, your inner beauty, the outer beauty, the flowers, for example, yeah, and embracing ourselves. So that has, Kaustuba, what do you think, completely gone from our lives?
Depends on who you ask, but it's true. Most of the time, it's like that because I think there's also very little education about this and also very little recognition about this. Uh,
Yeah,
I I think many people, and especially many men, look at a sexual experience as something with a certain result, a certain outcome. It's for their personal gratification, without understanding that it's the whole process. And I think that is where there is a problem because many men do not really understand what is sensuality and to appreciate the smell, the voice, the voice of his or her lover, the texture of the skin, the visual eye-to-eye contact, and things like that, which are all part of this whole process that you're talking about, which is what makes a relationship very beautiful, very deep. Um, the reason I'm laughing is a conversation that I had with one of my students. It came to mind where she was saying, "Well, what can I do? My partner is just engaging in a sexual encounter that lasts like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and I'm not interested in that. I'm
my
not
God, yeah.
interested in that." And that's the unfortunate thing. That's the unfortunate thing. That's one part of the problem. The other part, many women have been objectified as a sexual object, and therefore there is a lot of resistance to embrace themselves and their sensual part. And it's fair enough to them because it because men don't understand that just because a woman is beautiful, like you are saying, or radiant or sensual, it does not give the man the license to kind of take advantage of such a woman. And I think that is part of the problem as well in this case. So it's true that it's definitely a problem in today's society. And I hope it'll somehow come back. I hope it'll somehow come back so that there can be a much more romantic, much more, how to
Yes.
say, uh, heightened uh, relationship between the partners, and it's not just about a physical body to body exchange of chemicals for a few minutes, because when you engage in a sensual process, the whole process is very long time. Like you could just even slightly touch each other's hand while you're walking, and you could feel the breeze in both of your bodies as you're walking, etc. All these are part of the sensual experiences, which is very important and very fundamental, but very few people are willing to do that. And I certainly hope that both men and women will embrace that without any fear. Without any fear.
With time
That's
and space, yeah.
Of course, you need time and space to engage in this kind of a sensual process, because if it's not, if you're not giving time and space, then this experience will not happen in this manner.
Yeah, so how I see it, so, or how I help
So
my,
you please tell me, because I have this question. It may be much better for you to advise all our ladies what is it that you feel about it and what you advise your female clients.
yes, of course, I do a lot of this, let's say, sensual healing of the inner sensuality with my female clients. Actually, I think with all of them. It's a very deep wound, as I mentioned before. First, we need to address very, very nicely and gently, and then slowly we can start to build this self-confidence in being a woman, because and being a woman and embrace it, and it's the first step. Then we can start with the sensual, let's say, rituals. How I do it is that I put, let's say, for example, nice music, slow romantic music, yeah, and then the clients and just start to move and just feel, the movement of one hand on or the other hand, so it's just connecting first to the body, because we are so disconnected to our body, yeah, and then we can feel from tap a little bit on our, or just do a little bit of massage of our body, just to connect. It's here, it's me, this is all me. And then slowly with this movement, we can go maybe the next time they are here with us. We can do some colors, yeah. And then when a female starts to grab some red colors or some pink colors, it's already very nice. And then maybe I invite them to draw a nice flower, yeah. And then they just start to connect to this sensuality and with the smell. And then it's like they, in every day they, as you mentioned, we need to be very connected to ourselves and to what we are experienced for senses, yeah, like the wind maybe, or the hair, how your hair falls, or the smell that you are smelling outside in the nature, or you see a flower and you are actually putting the energy there in the flower, see the flower, yeah, and smell the flower, and by that you are connected to the sensuality. It has, of course, it has a nice, can be a nice, let's say, step then into a partnership, but first it's just with the feminine qualities first, with the woman, it's herself, yeah.
Of course, of course. And it's a very interesting thing that you said about connection. And sensuality or senses is about both pleasure and feedback. It's to sense and be sensed. Both are part of it.
Exactly, good.
So, especially when we are engaging with a partner, it's not just enough if we see them, we allow them to see us too. That's why
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
called intimacy.
Hmm.
You can't be afraid to reveal yourself to your partner, but expect to see your partner fully, like sense your partner fully. You need to also allow your partner to sense you, whether it's your fears, your anxiety, or your joy, or your pleasure, everything, because that's what makes the relationship whole. It's not just a physical relationship that makes the relationship, it's the whole thing. So that's what is intimacy. Intimacy is not just sexual intimacy. Intimacy is also emotional intimacy. It's energetic intimacy. That's why we need to be honest with our partners and even allow them to sense our fears, our
Yeah.
anxieties, our traumas. And I think that is why we shut it down, because we don't want to do it. And therefore, we lose this connection to sensuality. Because sensuality is not about senses, sensuality is about the heart to heart connection. Because in Vedic tradition, the senses are in the heart, indriyas are in the heart. So you cannot have sensuality with heart closed. It's not just you touch, 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 it's going to work. You have to touch from your heart, not from your fingers. The
Exactly, yeah.
words that you speak have to come from your heart, not from your lips. The way you see somebody should not come from your eyes. It has to come from your heart. Otherwise, it's not really a connection.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big fear, because everybody shut the heart and expect for sensual experiences. It's not going to happen.
Yes, this is why I said before that this let's say, inner pain, as you're mentioning that we are all shut down, the inner pain needs to be really gently healed, because this is a very gentle energy. Yeah, it's not like, we go revolutionary. It's very, very gentle in all of us, in female and male. Yeah.
Yes.
Then to open this channel just by using simple tools as movement, as singing, smelling the rose, going into warm bath, eating chocolate, not tons of it, yeah, but, enjoying in this chocolate in tea or coffee, yes. I really like food, and I really like coffee and chocolate, those two. I think we are somewhere the same, yeah, with that. And it's really, we are when we connect these senses, we really eat and drink from our heart then, yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. That's why
from,
words of love always come from our heart.
yes,
Acts of love come from our heart. Artwork from of love comes from our heart. So
yes,
we cannot remove the heart from this philosophy of sensuality, and that is another reason why many modern day people, both men and women, are unable to engage with this, connect with this energy of sensuality, because we're disconnected from our heart. And it's a very simple thing. The moment you are saying a lie, even a small lie, your heart closes because it's no more authentic.
yes.
So
Oh,
even a
yes.
small lie, you must not say. It's a simple
Mm,
example because that is a closure to your heart, because
yes,
you're not wanting to reveal something that is true in your heart.
yes. I
That's the
find this
part.
I find this in myself, and also many, many of my clients. They said that they cannot lie anymore. It's like it's also for me. Yeah, I cannot lie. Then I'm then quiet, or try to be as
Yes.
little, you know. But
But being quiet is not the same thing as being honest.
yes,
Sometimes
yes, exactly.
if you are silent, you are giving consent to a lie.
Yes, well, I try to be as honest as I can, but sometimes of course, you just cannot, you see person for the first time. You don't want to just put them in a place that they would not like. Yeah. So but it's true what you say. It's when it's just not possible anymore to lie. Yeah, to say come from the lie comes from the mouth. Yeah, it's not possible. So and then we have the last one, intuition, which is really, really a superpower, or actually the normal quality of all people in the world. So it's a very powerful gift that we have as human beings, especially as women. But women are now mostly run by logic. So sadly, we don't know that intuition is actually a higher intelligence and it's far more intelligent than intellect. And by opening to intuition, embracing it, we can all live uh, much more peaceful and much more meaningful and prosperous life. So is there any suggestion on how to start to listen to our inner voice and trust it? And you said you have to say something about your mother.
You didn't forget.
No.
Well, I think intuition is such a great gift of humanity, and I think women are much more easily connecting with intuition than men are doing. I don't say that men cannot do it. There are many men who are able to do it,
Yes.
but women can connect with it much more easier because intuition is a feminine energy. What I wanted to say was that this is a true story. My father had some students from already in the 1970s, and when my mom met these people for the first time, why especially we talk about one of the persons. She already told my father at that time that she doesn't trust him. He's a crook. But my father did not believe my mom because, my father thought, oh, I am a great yoga teacher, son of Krishnamacharya. I should be so great. And this lady is just a 20 plus year old woman who is not really educated in yoga and the Shastras and this and that. And he forgot that women have been given this superpower of intuition. And my father did not really listen to it. You cannot imagine 30 plus years later, what my mother said came true. And my father realized that, my God, my mother was right already 30 years ago. And luckily he was kind enough to apologize about it to my mother and saying, yes, you were right. I should have listened to you. And that's the thing. Women are much more easily connected with intuition. My feeling is we must not be afraid to connect with intuition. We must not invalidate our own intuition and, of course, others' intuitions as well. The tricky part about it is that many people confuse intuition and imagination. Intuition comes from the silence of the heart, not from the noise of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the place of intuition is in the heart as well. So the answer to all of that is in the heart as well. And I think that is why the way we need to do is to go and spend some time in this home called the heart through, for example, making time and space, not to be too busy, for example. Connect with things which are nature, observe nature, because when you observe nature, especially animals, you see that animals will function based on intuition. They will not function based on logic or science. They will not calculate velocity, wind factor, this and that, like we are told to do when we play golf, to jump and catch the rat. Like, for example, the cat wants to catch the rat. It's not making all those kind of calculations. It's having an intuition. At the right moment, it will jump to catch the rat. It's not following science or physics or any other things. It's not doing those things, and that is what we need to do. We have to silence the mind a little bit and connect. I have seen, and this is what I do, and certainly you know this from our own working together. I don't expect. I don't expect that those who follow gurus blindly will ever have intuition, because many of the modern day gurus just want the teachers to just be dependent on them and follow them and worship them and adore them and also serve them like slaves. Such students will not have ever intuition, because the guru is actually abusing them and invalidating their own intuitive power. A real teacher is somebody who actually encourages the students to think independently, to guide the students, to empower their intelligence, to empower their intuition. And that is the very big danger today, because there are so many gurus, there are so many people who want, not only in India but around the world, everybody is wearing a garb of a guru, wearing an orange robe, wearing some chapamala, wearing some marks on the forehead, and changing their names. I mean, I'm getting Facebook friends from somebody with very Indian name, but they are from Uruguay or Paraguay or somewhere else, and they are just suddenly changing the name to be some guru. The concept of guru is sprouting so much, where they want the student to just follow them blindly. Intuition will not develop when we follow gurus blindly. Such gurus should be avoided because they are not really right teachers. We need to find teachers who allow for independent thinking, who encourage for independent thinking, while still rooted in the philosophy of what teaching they are representing. We don't need to mix this and that. Creativity is not to mix different things and just make something. Creativity is to do our best and bring out the potential of the student, not try to make the student follow the guru blindly. That's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. That's why you see, I'm not a guru and I'm wearing this shirt. No guru wears this shirt. They will wear orange robes or red robes or white robes.
Yes, and I'm wearing white shirt, and nobody noticed my white shirt that I bought online by myself,
But
and I
Katya,
finally
you're almost always wearing a white shirt.
no, it's no.
Look
I
at,
think it's the second
look
time in
at,
1 year.
look at our videos. You're almost always wearing white shirt.
White is quite often, yeah, but this shirt is the second time here now. Well,
Okay, Katya, your shirt is very nice. My dear friends, please leave some nice comments to Katya's shirt as well. Otherwise, she gets a bit jealous.
yes,
But you see, Katya, since you are a woman, you have the superpowers. I need this colorful shirt because I'm a man and I don't have the same superpowers that you have.
yeah, I think this is it. Yes, yes, for sure. Yeah, but I will try to find for our another interview, the next interview, a shirt or a blouse that will be a little bit more colorful. Nice, nice shirts. Thank you,
And
Clement.
at that time, I will wear white shirt. Don't worry. Now, coming back to that, that's the problem because
Yeah.
in modern time we are giving away our power and asking somebody else for advice to follow. And how will we develop intuition if we are giving away our power to some guru sitting in some place who doesn't even know us, who doesn't care about us? And it's very, very important that we start to listen to inner voice, not to the voice of somebody outside claiming to be more wise than us.
Yes. Yeah, but also how to start, let's say, in my practice, I encourage people, and I hope I empower them also. It's my full intention, but it's how actually to start to listen to their intuition, because I have clients, they said, oh, I don't know intuition, I don't know what that is, and now they are, living with their intuition 99%, let's say, a lot, yeah, a lot.
That's very good. That's very good.
It's very good. So it's like, how would we say? It's like listening to something coming from the heart, that it's almost, or not almost, that it's 100%, and then the ego or imagination, it's of course running, but how to distinguish between those two? How you recommend?
It's practice because we have moved away from intuition.
Yeah,
Moving back is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take
exactly.
some time to unlearn the patterns that we have put to move away from intuition. So we need to unlearn and give some time. So intuition that is coming overnight is not always going to be correct. We need to give it some time. And this
Yeah,
I've seen in many of my own students. In the beginning, they are so excited about, oh blah, I know I got this intuition, I got this intuition. I say, be calm, be calm. Because in time you will know whether it was intuition or imagination because it's not going to change.
yeah,
And I'm
exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
and I'm so happy that so many people are commenting about your beautiful shirt. And Shri is telling you, Katya's shirt is ready for creative work, which means you can paint on your shirt, and for the next interview, you wear the shirt that you've just painted on.
Oh my God, don't push me into that, because I think it's the only white shirt I have. So
If you
it's,
don't want to paint, you can actually put some pins and stick some roses here and there.
ah, okay, okay. Or wear another one. Thank you guys for commenting my shirt and the shirt of Kaustuba. Thank you very much, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to being with us. Stay tuned with us, because we are jumping from day to day. It's no longer anymore on Saturdays, because of several James Bond and Mrs. M, Miss Madam M things, yeah, and things that we need to do. I lost the English word. So stay tuned with us, and thank you very much for being with us. If you are courageous enough, ladies and gentlemen, let us know which one was the most powerful for you or the most new to you? Was the creativity, was the intuition, was the sensuality maybe? So in order just to recognize your inner process and self-reflection. So let us know in the comment and we will read later on. So for now, we are going to end this interview. Again, we were honoring the feminine and all the women in the world with the tomorrow's date. So have a very nice day tomorrow. We will ask Dr. Kausthub Desikachar to chant for us at the end. Yeah.
Can you realize we have done 1 hour and 20 minutes long? That is 30% more than usual, Katya.
I'm so sorry, but somehow
No,
just
sorry. It's very good. It's
float,
very good. It's
just
very
float.
good. That's feminine power as well, to let it flow.
Let it flow, exactly, yeah. And let
So
it end, yeah.
yes, I will do the second part of the chant that I didn't do it in the beginning. So this is the last part, so it will complete the chant.
Good. We are ready.
मनसः काममाकोतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयि श्रीश्रयता यशः कर्दमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्दमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतव समे गृहे निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीम् चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह आर्द्रायकरिणीं यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीम् सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो म आवह ताम आवह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनी यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योश्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषानः पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षे विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधत्स्व श्रियै जातश्रिय आनिर्याय श्रियं वयोजनितृभ्यो दधातु श्रियं वसाना अमृतत्वमायन् भवन्ति सद्यः समिधा मितद्योन् श्रिय एवैनन्तश्रियामादधाते सन्ततमृचा वशकृत्यं सन्दत्तं सन्धीयते प्रजया पशुभिः य एवं वेदा ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात् ॐ श्रीं श्रेयै नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Namaste, my dear Katya. Namaste, all of you, for being here today and for even tolerating our extremely long interview.
Yes. Thank you very much and enjoy tomorrow's day and all the rest of the days. Yes.
Yes, yes. Please
Yeah.
be safe as well. Be safe, my dear friends. Namaste.
Yeah. Be safe.